We're live.
We're live. We're functional. And my sound is very sensitive today. So sensitive.
I love how your voice just got all soft and woohoo.
It's so sensitive today. What if I did the whole episode like that?
Oh, Lord.
Welcome back to Oddities. I'm Cassie.
I'm Kelly.
You're matching my vibe. And welcome back to Strange Town. I can't do it anymore. Follow along on social media. It's all in the description. Shout out to Lindsay and Lindsay Bidwell and all of the hard work she did for our beautiful new merch drop. Hopefully it's out at this point. And logo.
Yes.
And yeah, thanks.
Okay, bye.
Now, how are we? You started telling me about your weekend, but then I was like, no.
Yeah.
The odd fan wants to know.
I'm good. I just stayed up way past my bedtime last night.
Same, though. So this should be a real good episode.
My husband and I, Michael, we hosted like a little dinner party, game night, soiree.
Oh, a little soiree.
A little fancy-dancy. And, I've known them for close to 10 years now. And, we just kind of lost a little bit of touch when I moved and we regained touch and, it was just glorious. So, honestly, shout out to Jerry and Cindy and Jeff and Lauren. You guys are all wonderful. We talked about the podcast, so I'm just going to assume you're listening.
Thanks for listening.
It was really exciting to play board games with people who are enthusiastic about playing board games. And Michael got a new one, and it's all about making wine. And honestly, what could be better?
Big time. That sounds like a blast.
Yeah, but it was while we were learning, right, it was taking a bit, but it felt like we were only playing for an hour.
Yes.
So, long story short, they left at midnight. It was not an hour.
It was, in fact, not 1 hour.
But it was a lot of fun. And my oldest was very strangely glued to Jeff. So there's that.
Oh, we love a connection. That's great.
It was adorable. He was showing him and Jerry his Pokemon cards.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I asked him, hey, who's your favorite? Meaning, who's your favorite Pokemon? Right?
Yep.
And he looks at Jeff and just puts his hand on Jeff.
Jeff's his favorite Pokemon.
Yeah. And then later I said something about, who's your best friend? Because I know who it is. It's Nana. And he goes, Jeff.
Oh my God.
And I said, I'm going to tell Nana. And he's like, it's okay. I can have two.
I mean, he's not wrong, so.
No, it's not. It was just really cute. So yeah, that was my night. And honestly, it was a good end to my week. I had a really great week. I got to see my godmother, whom I haven't seen for 3 years, thanks pandemic.
Yeah.
And that was the first time my kids really got to meet her. The first time, they were itty bitty, so
right.
No memory.
Right.
But it was all good. So yeah, that's enough about me. How are you? What's been going on?
What has been going on? This was a very busy week at work. It was just calls out the ass. Just everybody wanted a piece of this week, and that's cool.
I can't blame them.
Oh, stop it, you. I wrote yet another set of 2 papers for school. I'm so close. But
You're almost done.
I think by the time this comes out, I am officially done. Let's see. When is this released? December 11th? Oh, we're going to be very close. 4 days from now, I'm going to be done with master's degree number 2. Oh, yeah. So
that's
celebrate.
My badass bestie.
Yes.
And we had of everything.
That's right. Master of the universe. And then we had a friend come and visit yesterday, so that was cool. I haven't seen her in a while. So, yeah, it was Alex. I don't know if I can say her name. I think that's probably fine. Anyway.
But I know of the friend, so.
You know of the friend. Yeah, so she came to visit for a long while yesterday, and I too had a late night. We all got lit.
Love that. Love this for us. This is the good energy.
And we played Mario Party, and then we hung out by the fire pit for a while, so it was good. And I'm thrilled because today I am in the coziest of all cozy get-ups because the temperature has finally decided it wants to drop and stay dropped. So now we're looking at 30s and 40s all day long, baby. So I got my
I'm
sweats.
digging your sweatshirt on
I got
right
this
now. That's a
huge
pretty
fucking
color.
sweatshirt. Thank you. It's my Carhartt sweatshirt. It's like so cozy
Oh,
and
the
bulky.
best.
And then I have exactly one handsome man in here with me while I'm recording. So it's a
Hi,
good day.
Hobbs.
Hi, Hobbles. Such a handsome boy. And oh, and
You said
Corey.
handsome man. I know exactly who that is.
I know you know exactly who it is. And our from the time of recording, our anniversary is in 1 week, but Corey and I couldn't wait, so we exchanged gifts, and we love
What did you
everything.
get?
So, I, so I had. This
I know what
lady,
he got, but what did you get?
Let me walk everybody through everything. I'm choking on my spit. I found a lady on Etsy who does, because the first anniversary is the paper anniversary for anybody that doesn't know, whatever. And we were like, oh, we're gonna like try and rock with this theme, right? So I found this lady on Etsy who does all origami, and she recreates like a wedding photo of your choice in origami. Can I just fucking say the level of detail on this shit is incredible. It is awesome. Like down to my little bouquet, I had included my grandpa's like war medals on it because they are no longer with us, and I wanted them there with me. She even has a tiny little medal on my bouquet. It's incredible. So that was really wild. And then Corey got me two things, and they're both awesome. First of all, he got me. Actually, this reminds me a lot of what I got you like several years back in our friendship. You know those earrings that are made out of book pages? They're little roses.
Yeah.
He got them for me. Now we can match.
We match.
I love that. And then he also got me. This is the coolest thing. It's not paper, but it's based on a paper item. It is a custom like blanket that is a tarot card of the lovers, and it's two skeletons, and they're so cool, and it's got our name and our date on it. It's the coolest thing in the
Good
universe.
job, Corey.
I should put a
Snaps
picture
for
up.
Corey.
Snaps for Corey. I should put a picture up. And honestly, like, I don't even want to use it as a blanket. It's so cool. I want to hang it on the wall, and I think I might. So
Make it like a tapestry.
big time. Like, it's got big tapestry
I'm not
energy.
gonna lie, it would look really good behind you right now.
Dude, would it
And
not?
then all of your work people can see it too, and they can just understand where you're from.
That I'm one spooky bitch. I would love that for me.
Yes.
Maybe I'll do it. So anyway, that was the coolest. And you know, we're looking forward to celebrating for real next weekend. But this is like, you know, a month.
Well,
But yeah, you know, whatever.
yeah, later. But besides the fact, again, I'm just gonna say it. Happy almost first anniversary.
Thank you. We made it.
I
1
am
year
like,
down.
I can't believe it's been a year because it really like
It feels like yesterday.
it flew.
Yeah, it went
It
so
flew.
fast.
And by the way, I just want to like throw this out there as somebody who was at her wedding because matron of honor.
Of course. Yes.
This wedding was so lit.
Thank you. It was a good fucking time.
Everything about this wedding was a good time. My favorite part,
Oh God.
the mashed potato bar.
Oh, the mashed potato bar was
Sorry.
tight.
I'm sorry. That was like there was a lot of great things, don't get me wrong, but the mash Oh, no. The takeaway pretzels.
Oh, our end of night favor was soft pretzels for everybody. Well, so we knew based on the group of people that we had invited to this thing that literally like 99% of people there were going to be like fucking wasted off their ass. So we were like, well, we should give them like something
We were.
something carby at the end of the night, and that could be like double as our favor. So soft pretzels for everybody, and yeah, and yes, everybody was lit at the end of the night. So it was a good time, if I do say so myself.
Yeah.
I loved it. My
Let's do it
favorite
again.
part, yeah, let's do it again. My favorite part, aside from like getting married and all of that, was the picture that I saw. Can I share about the picture?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think
you're gonna probably end up having to post it. Right?
I was like, I think I'm gonna need to post it. My favorite out of all like 600 pictures that came from that night, the number one photo is Kelly and her husband, and I think you're watching us during our first dance or something.
Yeah, it's your first dance.
And Kelly's sitting there, and her husband has his hand on her ass with just the happiest, like, most content look on his face. And Kelly's not even acknowledging it. It's just
Because this is my normal. This is a constant.
the coolest fucking picture I've ever seen of the. Well, we got our photos, we went through them, and not like 5 minutes in, that picture shows up, and I was like, I have to send
Nothing
it to
will
Kelly.
top this.
It's only going down from here because this is the peak. It is. So I'm gonna have to share it on social media. Yeah. So everybody, it's coming.
Like the Okay, and so here's the funny thing about this. Cassie, for my birthday this year, got me the most beautiful print from her wedding of her and I. And when I first opened it, I realized it was going to be a print, and I thought to myself, "Oh my god, she had it printed."
Okay, can I tell you though how close I was to doing that? But I was like, no, let's be like sentimental about this shit.
Here's the funny thing, like, I took a deep breath before I turned it because I didn't know what I was gonna see. And here's the thing, I need you to understand, I am ecstatic with what I have. I would have been ecstatic with the ass pic too, though.
Well, my friend, there's many birthdays ahead. Don't tempt me with a good time.
Oh.
Anyway, that's the latest and greatest from here. So,
oh my gosh, you know what? I read that freaking comment again this morning.
Which one? That we're intolerable?
The intro banter being intolerable. And I'm just, you want to know what's intolerable? Having a username that says dates every night. That makes you one intolerable human being, in my opinion. So, on you.
The amount of shade you just threw by putting the full name out there. Oh, God. Well, yeah. I mean, I own it. I'm intolerable. What can I say? I put it on my resume, in fact, right at the top. Cassandra Alpasarella, intolerable.
Just so they know what they're getting,
That's right.
There's nothing to hide here.
Maybe I'll start changing, like, my stage name. Like, moving forward, maybe it'll just be Cassandra Intolerable. Wait, actually, I love that.
It rolls off the tongue quite nicely. It's quite stunning.
Stunning. Oh my god. Well, here we are, 12 minutes in of intolerableness. I don't remember who it was listeners episode last week. Oh, I went first last week. You do this. You do this.
All right.
I command thee.
Mine's a little bit of a doozy.
Oh.
Like a good doozy, though. When I started researching it, this is not where I was expecting it to go.
Stunning.
Like, here's the thing, guys. I really did go into this thinking that I was researching, just a legend. I didn't know it was a true thing.
Oh, it's in fact not a legend at all. Oh, we love a twist.
Yeah, it's very, very true. And so, yeah. Let me pull it back up because it disappeared on me. There it is. All right. Oh, okay. So I'm going to be talking about the Lady of the Lake in Washington.
Oh, Washington. Bigfoot country.
Washington.
Just leave me. Carry on.
One of my bosses used to do that. He warshing, and it used to drive me insane.
Well, that's like a Pennsylvania thing, I'm pretty sure, is like wash your drawers. Warsh.
Drawers. Warsh.
Warsh.
All right.
Bring it back. Bring it back. We're here. We're focused.
Are you proud of that?
I am. I'm leaving all of it in.
Yep. All right. The Lady of the Lake is a true story of the disappearance of Hallie Latham Illingworth. By the way, I'm going to warn you right now. There are some crazy names, and I know one of them. You are going to laugh.
Is it Butt?
No, just wait. Just wait.
Okay, good.
A tale of murder, a body that turned to soap, and the hunt for a killer has absorbed readers and storytellers for generations, and one of the most enduring legends on the Olympic Peninsula. The story began in the summer of 1940 when a woman's body floated to the surface of Lake Crescent in Olympic National Park. The woman was wrapped in blankets and hogtied with heavy rope.
Oh.
She had been strangled.
Oh.
She had been strangled. The case was especially weird.
Yeah, okay.
Because of the condition of the body. The woman's face was unrecognizable. Like, period. They could not, there was nothing there. However, the body didn't decompose because of the conditions of the cold lake, and because it was wrapped up and like protected from elements. The body was like essentially refrigerated.
So it's like Big Tahoe energy.
I was feeling that the whole time.
Wow, this is decidedly not stunning so far.
Not stunning at all.
This is gnarly. Okay.
In a bizarre chemical transformation, the flesh had turned into a soap-like substance that
Ah,
could be
yes.
scooped away like putty.
Yes. This,
Let that
if
sink in.
anybody wants to venture way back, I talked about this a little bit on the spontaneous combustion episode.
You did, didn't you?
It's the wick effect is what it was called. I'm pretty sure or something. But carry on. Putty skin. Yikes.
Ugh.
Yikes.
The public's imagination was caught by the grisly discovery. The murdered woman became known as Lady of the Lake. It was a fitting name for the mystery woman who had emerged from Lake Crescent, a cold, deep lake that had a reputation for never giving up its dead.
Wow, never gonna give you up. I love that.
So here's the thing, I was literally about to do that, and then you did it.
I stole your thunder. I'm sorry.
But you didn't. I think you just made it roar louder.
Well, if that ain't me, I love it.
The Lady of the Lake was, in fact, Hallie Latham Illingsworth, a Port Angeles waitress who was married to Montgomery Monty J. Illingsworth, a beer truck driver and known ladies' man. Hallie had been missing since shortly before Christmas in 1937. So what, that was 3 years she was
Oh
in the lake
Lord, just
before emerging? Isn't that
oh
crazy?
my. And she
She had
wasn't
arrived.
decomposed, which is crazier. Like that's,
Yeah.
I mean, putting it in
Yeah.
perspective.
Um, she had arrived in the Olympic Peninsula about 3 years earlier. After two failed marriages, she was born on January 8th, 1901, in Kentucky. As a young adult, Hallie repeatedly moved west, searching for a better life. She wound up working at the Lake Crescent Tavern, now the Lake Crescent Lodge, where
Oh,
she met Monty Illingsworth, who became her third husband on June 16th, 1936. The two had a volatile marriage. 5 months into it, the couple got into a pre-dawn fight.
a
I
pre-dawn
love
fight.
a pre-dawn fight. I like how
Oh,
that was
wow, setting
mentioned.
the stage. Yeah.
That was so fierce that police were called to break it up. Hallie showed up for work in Port Angeles restaurant with bruises on her face and arms. Sometimes she had black eyes.
Oh my.
Then, as the holidays approached in 1937, she disappeared.
Okay, so Monty is therefore a piece of shit.
In fact,
Big time. Okay.
um, after the night, after the night and morning of December 21st and 22nd, no one had saw Hallie. Monty told friends that his wife had run off with another man, but as months went by, Hallie's close-knit family had no word from her. Monty moved to California with a woman he had met in Port Angeles, a woman whom he had been romantic with before Hallie.
Passionate necking.
Yeah.
It's back.
And then on July 6th, 1940, almost 3 years after Hallie disappeared, two fishermen spotted the body of a woman and the Lady of the Lake floating on the surface of Lake Crescent.
Oh God.
The body was taken to Port Angeles, where a young medical student, Harlan McNutt,
Oh no. Oh no, Dr. McNutt.
I wish our listeners could see your face right now.
Oh my God. Oh God. R.I.P. me. Dead. Died. Dead. I'm dead. I can't. How does one go through life with a name like that and not and survive? Oh my God, Harlan McNutt. Oh God, leave me here. I'm going to be caught on this for a century. Just go on without me.
We noted that the upper part of her face, her upper lip, and her nose were gone.
Oh,
Because her hands had been exposed, the tips of her fingers were also gone.
ah,
There was no way to get fingerprints, no way to tell what the woman looked like, and there was an unusual and the unusual state of the corpse, that soap-like.
putty skin.
Yeah. The dead woman's flesh had turned to something like ivory soap, McNutt said later, describing a condition known as sponification.
That sounds right.
Yeah, okay. The soap-like condition resulted from the minerals in the lake interacting with the fats in the woman's body. The lake, near freezing temperatures, had virtually refrigerated the corpse for years.
And she became human soap for McNutt.
You proud of that one too?
Just god damn it. Okay, go on.
Though there was little with which to make an identification. The body had distinctive upper dental plate. It proved to be a clue that led to her killer. Authorities eventually identified the woman as Hallie, thanks to an alert South Dakota dentist who identified the dental plate as one he had made for her years before. So, dental records still a thing.
They're still a thing. They are.
Yeah.
South Dakota. Who'da thunk it?
So, investigators closed in on Monty Illingworth, living in Long Beach, California, on October 26, 1941. He was arrested and taken to custody by the LA Sheriff's deputies. Not long after, he was charged with murder. He
Moidah.
was brought back to Port Angeles and put on trial for Hallie's murder in Clallam County Superior Court. The trial began February 24th, 1942. And it was so sensational. Like, this was like huge news because it really did captivate everyone. The whole thing, because bodies did not appear from Lake Crescent, apparently.
Yeah. Also McNutt.
With a name like that. Monty's defense was that the dead woman wasn't Hallie. That's it.
Oh,
They just simply said it's
like,
not her.
No, it's not.
He swore she was still alive, and when he last saw her, and he swore she was still alive when he last saw her. Meaning, like
years.
You kind of just gave it up. Like, yeah, sure, she was alive when you saw her, but you left her, and now she's dead. So, good job there, friend.
What a dipshit.
But the dentist from South Dakota was a credible witness. He insisted that the dental plate found on the murdered woman belonged to Hallie. Moreover, Hallie's friends identified the clothes worn by the dead woman as belonging to Hallie. The key evidence was a rope used to tie up Hallie before she was dropped into Lake Crescent. Monty had borrowed 50 feet of rope from a storekeeper at the lake, and the store still had remnants from the rope, and the fibers matched.
Oh, ye old fiber identification. We love it.
Yep. It took the jurors 4 hours to reach a verdict. On March 5th, 1942, the jury found Illingworth guilty of second-degree murder. He was sentenced to life imprisonment at the Washington State Penitentiary in Walla Walla, Washington. Walla Walla.
What the fuck is any of this? Walla.
He served 9 years in prison and was paroled in 1951. He died on November 5th, 1974 in Los Alamitos, California.
Wait. Only 9 years and then he was out? He was paroled?
Yeah.
What the fuck? I can't.
Why say life imprisonment when you didn't mean life imprisonment?
Oh my god, what the fuck? Meanwhile, this guy was like such a piece of fucking trash. He like beat the shit out of her and then he killed her and dumped her ass. And
also, like, second degree, isn't that manslaughter? Accidental murder?
I don't know.
There was nothing accident about this. He freaking killed her. Like,
yeah. Wow. I'm very annoyed by that, but carry on.
Yeah. A contemporary of Hallie's later observed that her murder was most likely not premeditated, that Hallie and Monty probably had a fight in their apartment that December night in 1937. The fight took a violent turn, and Monty brutally beat and strangled Hallie to death. Here's the thing. He's been beating her for months now at this point.
Right.
I don't know. Something tells me that was, like, premeditated.
Or like he knew at some point he was gonna reach that point. Yeah. Also, like, the police have been called on this shit before, and, like, clearly she had been, like, harmed. Why did we not do anything? It is the ye old times, so.
It was the ye old times, which, honestly, it wasn't that long ago. But
no,
I guess
really,
it wasn't
like,
it?
It was like the blink of an eye, but wow.
Hollis Fruits. I don't even know
Jesus
how to pronounce
Christ.
that last name.
I can't anymore.
criminologist with the Washington State Attorney General's office who helped investigate the murder, maintained that Monty tried to conceal the crime by placing his wife's lifeless body in the trunk of his car and driving to Lake Crescent. Monty then stopped in the vicinity of the present day log cabin resort, where he wrapped his wife's body in blankets and tied the bundle with a rope. Monty put Hallie's body in a rowboat, attached weights to the bundle, rowed into a deep water, and then dropped the bundle into the dark waters. Rumors circulated during the murder investigation that Monty didn't act alone, but no one other than Monty was charged with the crime. I think Monty's little side piece
Yeah, maybe she
helped with
got in
that.
on this action.
Because here's the thing. Women think things out. Men
We
don't.
do. That's
And
true.
I don't think a guy would be like, "Let me wrap her body up." I think a guy would be like, "Let me throw some weights on this bitch and drop her in."
I mean, yeah, I think so. That sounds
You know
right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that the woman that his little side piece was like, "No, wrap it up so like she can't be found or something." I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
blame the side piece too. So,
All right. I mean, that
and
sounds
that,
good to
my
me.
friends, is the Lady of the Lake.
Wow. I for sure didn't think this was a real thing either. I mean, I've heard the term like Lady of the Lake or like a Lady of the Lake or whatever like 1,001 times.
By the way, there are so many stories that
Come
I
out of
found
this.
come out of this, not just with Washington, so many different lakes across the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
So, some topics have been added to my list.
Oh, good. Stunning. Wow.
Stunning.
Wow. Well, that was a wild ride. And
Yeah.
wow. Also dark. Also, these names. I mean,
Yeah, I knew you were gonna get a kick out of it. Just
McNutt.
just with the
Is it with
names. Yep, there
one
it is.
T also?
Nope.
It's
Nope.
it's double T's.
McNutt.
Okay, well, it makes it like a little bit less risque, I feel like, with two T's. But nonetheless, it's a nut. So, all right,
I'm a nut.
well, I can't. I, there was just that was just all such a ride. I don't. Monty's a piece of shit. I mean, that's just. I think
Oh,
that's what where we leave this.
yeah, massive piece of shit. And if anybody has any questions or like is anybody questioning this, there has been no like paranormal sightings of her. There's
Oh
been
no.
no
Okay.
like I tried to find anything,
You're like,
even
please let there
remotely
be a ghost associated with this
like
shit.
something which I kind of feel like when there's ghosts involved, it means that they're not at peace.
Yeah,
So I'm hoping that
I hope
because
she
there's no
is.
sightings of her, that means she's at peace. So that's cool.
Yeah.
We'll
See, and
leave it
I
at
was
that.
hoping she was having like big banshee energy and just like freaking out by the lake all the time and like that'd be kind of cool, but then I'd feel sad for her. So, I
Yeah.
guess we got a happy ending?
Happy.
Question mark?
Yeah.
Yeah. As good as wow. Well, yeah, I hope she is a piece. Fuck Monty.
Screw
That's all.
Monty.
All right. I'm taking us to a different part of the globe. We're going to the Tower of London today, and we're going to
Boop
talk.
boop.
We're talking about some ghostalas, some spookala some spooky, scary skeletons, ghosty woasties, paranormal extravaganzas, all of the above.
My brain just went spooky, scary skeletons.
That's
Give
it.
shivers down your spine.
That song's a fucking bop. All right, so the Tower of London. I've been there. Have you ever been to England?
No,
All right,
just New
first of all,
Zealand and Australia.
the Tower of London is a very cool place to go. There's just so much history, awful history, but history nonetheless there, and it's like very interesting. You can see like the jewels there. There's like a lot of like crown jewels and whatnot there, and that's very cool. And there's just like
Ooh.
it's very interesting if you're a history buff like moi. So William the Conqueror, he builds this basically this mighty stone tower at the center of London. It was his London fortress in the 1070s. So we're going way back here. Um, Defeated Londoners at that point probably looked upon it in awe, but now, nearly like I don't know, a gazillion years later, the tower still has the capacity to basically fascinate and horrify people. I mean,
Hmm.
it's a really, I mean, it's really something to look at. Like it is quite the sight to behold when you go there. It's pretty wild. So, Like I mentioned, it's like protector of the crown jewels. It's home of the yeoman warders, and it has legendary guardians, the pampered ravens. The tower now attracts over 3 million visitors a year. I don't know if this is still the case with the pandemic. I'm not sure if this
Mm.
information's like slightly outdated there, but maybe we're working back up to it. I don't know. But here, the ceremony of the keys and other traditions live on, as do ghost stories and terrible tales of torture and execution. Woo!
That was phenomenal.
stick a fork in me. I'm done. But the tower also has like a relatively rich and complex history. It's been home to a wide array of institutions, including the Royal Mint, the Royal Armories, and even a zoo. Who knew?
A zoo.
I didn't. I've been there and I didn't know this. So the tower has been a visitor attraction since the 18th century, but numbers of
Wow.
tourists have increased dramatically since the 1800s, basically. And visitors were fascinated by the stories of England's like quite turbulent and sometimes rather gruesome history. And it is said that there are ghosts that haunt the tower, including Anne Boleyn. She's said to like stalk the site of her execution on the Tower Green. There's Arabella Stuart, who is the cousin of Elizabeth I, who starved while under arrest for marrying without royal permission. She is said to frequent the Queen's house still. And two smaller ghosts are thought to be the princes in the tower, and the yeoman warders often will tell a chilling tale of a huge bear who occasionally happens
Whoa.
to frighten visitors.
Rar.
We're gonna get there. So let's get to like a couple of weird stories. um it has been basically the site of like it's infamous for stories of royal tragedy and death, right? So during the Wars of the Roses, Henry the Sixth, it's Roman numerals.
5, 6, 7, 8.
No, Henry the Sixth was murdered here in 1471, and later the children of his great rival Edward the Fourth, known as the princes in the tower, they vanished within its walls in 1483. One of the most famous legends of the tower surrounds the ravens. The story goes that should the ravens leave the tower, both it and the kingdom will fall. Ooh, spookala,
Ooh. I wonder if
bookala.
like people start seeing ravens fly away from it that they like shit themselves.
Yeah, do they like book like a one-way ticket the fuck out of there? They're like,
It's
well,
like, oh nope, it's fallen.
not today. Not today, Satan. Now, 7 ravens live at the tower, and they are cared for by a dedicated yeoman warder known as the Raven Master. Tell me, how does one get that gig? Because I would thrive to just take care of 7 ravens for my whole life and be called the Raven Master. I love that.
I mean, you got 2 masters going for you. Why not go for a third?
Why
there,
not go for a
bestie?
third? I know, the
I mean, I think you
trifecta.
could do it. I think that you're qualified.
Arguably, the only important masters that I would have would be that of the Raven Master designation. So today it said overall there are 13 ghosts that haunt the tower, and I love that it's 13. I mean, we love that.
Yep.
Spookala bookala. All right, so let's go back in time a little bit. In 1674, there were 2 skeletons that were unearthed at the tower. The bones were re-examined in 1933 and proved to be those of 2 boys aged about 12 and 10, exactly the same ages as the 2 princes that I've talked about when they disappeared. So that's spooky. As I mentioned,
Interesting.
I know. As I mentioned, there's Anne Boleyn, the second wife of Henry 5, 6, 7, 8, and the first wife he executed. She
Wasn't she beheaded?
probably, I think so. She's the most famous and like persistent of all of the tower ghosts. She's seen on the Tower Green where she was executed, and she's also seen in St. Peter ad Vincula where she was buried, and wandering corridors as a headless body.
Oh.
That's
I mean, it makes sense.
spooky. I love that for her though, because like if I was like if I was beheaded and I was gonna come back like
Wrongfully beheaded.
right, I would for sure come back as a headless being to fuck with people. Like
Oh yeah.
hands down, 100%, no question about it.
Like
Just like
dancing with no head.
that's right. I mean, literally, just like. And then we also have Henry the 5, 6. So he met his end as the result of a real-life Game of Thrones, basically. So Henry VI stood to inherit both the English and French thrones, but the House of
Hmm.
York imprisoned him during the War of the Roses. And shortly after, Edward IV seized the throne in 1471. Henry VI was stabbed while praying in Wakefield Tower, and his ghost haunts that tower to this day. And he appears at the last stroke of midnight. So Henry the
Damn.
Sixth is like a dramatic bitch. I
A
love
little
that.
bit.
Like, what a vibe. He's like, oh yeah, I'll haunt you, but only at the last stroke of midnight. Like, it's so. I love that. There's also Lady Jane Grey. She was only queen for
That
like.
name.
I know. She was only queen for 9 days before being executed by Mary Tudor, aka Bloody Mary, along with Lady Jane's husband, Lord Guildford Dudley. That guy was a mouth breather. With a name like that, I guarantee it. Guildford Dudley. Like that's
Ugh.
any hoozles. Jane was advanced as an Anglican alternative to Mary, who was very, very Catholic. And Lady Jane Grey's ghost is seen wandering the battlements, a lonely, solitary figure. And that's sad.
Oh,
I'm sad for Lady
sad
Jane Grey.
ghost.
Also, what a badass name. Lady
Really
Jane
is a
Grey.
badass name. Lady Jane. That's a name. That's a good name.
And then, of course, there is also the mouth breather himself, Lord Guildford Dudley. So, his ghost haunts the Beauchamp Tower, sitting in his cell and weeping late into the night. So he's just like a little bitch. Lord Dudley is also said to be responsible for the word Jane etched into the wall. Spooky.
Ooh,
That's like, all right, a little bit of
stunning.
spookala bookala credit to Dudley, but also he's just sitting there like
Ugh.
crying, and she's just
Was he
wandering
pining for
around,
her?
I guess, and she's just wandering around like being
Or was he
spooky.
writing her name in the stone because he was being haunted by her? I like that option better.
Oh, I vote that one. I picked that one. Yeah, okay. All right. There's also Margaret Pole, the Countess of Salisbury. So she was a victim of one of the most gruesome botched executions in history.
Oh,
Poor Margaret. Maggie, Marge, whatever we want to call her. When the
you deserved
Countess,
better.
she did, reached the scaffold where she was to be beheaded, she refused to kneel, saying, "So should traitors do, and I am none." We love that.
Ooh,
So when the
good
ex so
words.
I know. So when the executioner raised his axe, she ran. She was like, "I'm out, bitch." And he apparently chased her all around the scaffold, hacking at her until she died.
Oh my gosh, that's horrific.
It is said that her ghostly screams can still be heard on the Tower Green, and a few visitors have claimed to see a ghostly reenactment of the chase. Dude, what if the Tower of London though is like setting up holograms and just like doing this shit to fuck with people because like we love an
They
attraction.
can.
I mean, they
Yeah.
can. Oh my god. If the Queen of England, God rest her soul, if she had done this and she like set up this whole fucking elaborate thing before she died, like as one of her acts as queen, the amount that I worship this woman would go through the fucking roof. That would be incredible. Um okay. There is also, of course, the White Lady. Just like
Ooh.
basically all hauntings ever, there's always a lady in white, right? So
Yep.
anyway, no one is sure who the White Lady is, but she haunts the White Tower, and her presence is typically announced by an overwhelming smell of cheap perfume. So strong, it has made several tower visitors sick, and a few visitors report being tapped on the shoulder only to turn around and see nothing but a wisp of white. First of all, I love that her signature is cheap perfume because same.
Right?
Like, I mean, absolutely, she gets it. Okay, so then there's the two princes, Edward V and Richard, Duke of York. I've talked about them a little bit, but they were imprisoned in the tower by their uncle, Richard, Duke of Gloucester. Gloucester? I think it's Gloucester.
Gloucester.
Okay, Richard the
I
Third.
vote that one.
Okay, and purportedly murdered on his order. First of all, rude, but okay. So when the bones of these two small boys were found under the stairs in 1674, most people believe them to be the missing princes, and the bones were given like a royal burial at Westminster Abbey. The figures of two lost little boys wearing nightshirts holding hands are frequently seen in the White Tower, and oddly enough, they have also been seen playing on the battlements, and some claim to have heard children giggling. I hate that. That's
Mm.
spooky. When
Yep.
kids giggling enters the picture,
Ghosty goose. Ghosts.
ghosty goose.
Ghosty goose. No. Ah.
There's also Sir Walter Raleigh. He was imprisoned in the tower twice, once for a secret marriage and once for treason. As it goes. Following
Yep.
his execution, his ghost began wandering around the Bloody Tower, where he was imprisoned, as well as along the battlements now known as Raleigh's Walk, named after him. There is also a Grey Lady. Her identity in life is also uncertain, like the White Lady, but the Grey Lady is a well known resident of the Queen's house. The Grey Lady will only reveal herself to female visitors. Interestingly,
She doesn't like men.
I mean, I get it. Arabella
Yeah.
Stuart. King James I did not give his permission for Arabella to marry William Seymour, nephew of Lady Jane Grey. Enraged at the insult and perceiving the marriage as a possible threat to his throne, James I imprisoned Arabella in the Tower. She died there in 1615, and conflicting reports claim she either stopped eating or was murdered. Two very different routes to death, but
Yeah, that's like polar opposites.
we are like on definitely on different ends of the spectrum here, but she haunts the Queen's house. There's also Guy Fawkes. We know this name. It is said that you can hear Fawkes' screams and cries from the council chamber in the White Tower, where he was prepared for his execution. There's also something very mysteriously known as the Smothering Force.
Stop.
That's what I want to be in the afterlife.
Smothering force. I can see it.
The Smothering Force. A number. I know. There's nothing else really about the Smothering Force other than these people just feel this like overwhelming sense of like I can't breathe, and then
You can't breathe.
it's just become known as the Smothering Force.
Did they just sit on their chests?
I guess. I mean, it's like very vague. And then there's finally the grizzly bear.
Yeah.
So there are, in fact, a number of spectral animals that have been heard over the years, including monkeys, lions, and horses, but only one has actually been seen. And a guard at the tower claimed a ghostly bear charged him. And though the guard attempted to bayonet the animal, which kept coming at him, soon the sword went through the animal, and the guard was carried senseless to his quarters, where he died 2 days later. So I guess the bear just like
Death
really,
by ghost bear.
yeah, like I think he just literally, I think he shit himself and was like,
I think he had a heart attack.
like yeah, I
I
think he was
think
like,
he gave himself a heart attack.
I mean, to be fair, I probably would too. Like, holy shit, what a thing to survive. And then like you're probably like trying to tell people, and then they're like, yeah, right, and he's like, well, okay, fine, I might as well just die. So
Of embarrassment. Sorry.
of embarrassment.
This meant.
Ba, 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 ba. All right, and those are the 13 ghosts or whatever of the Tower of London. It's a spookala place.
And then, like, you know what makes this believable for me?
Mm.
13.
13. Also, the fact that the Tower of London itself just has like such a rich, crazy, wild history. Like, I'm
I
like, yeah,
decided
sure,
I needed to look at it, so I pulled it up, and I'm like, yeah, no, you got some spooky vibes to you, friend.
dude, big time. Like, it's some wild shit over there. And I remember like walking around there when I went to see it, and I was just like, this place for sure has to be haunted. Like, there's no doubt. It's
There's
old,
haunted vibes.
haunted vibes. A lot of bad shit happened here. Like, I've talked about this a bunch of times on the podcast. Like, I am way more likely to believe that a place is haunted where like a lot of bad shit has happened. And, this checks out. So that's the Tower of London. Highly recommend to anybody that ever finds themselves over in that part of the world to go check it out. It's very cool if you like history and, all of that.
All that fun jazz. And if you don't like history, who hurt you?
Why? Yeah, I mean, also, why are you listening to this podcast? Because it's naturally, like, covers history a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So, like, anyway, on that happy note, watch out for Dr. McNutt. No, I'm just kidding. He was a fine guy. He was okay. He was just a victim of an unfortunate name.
I knew you were going to hold on to that one.
I know. Let's see. Fuck Monty. That guy was an asshole. And
Yep.
petition for us to
Maybe
go
stay out of Lake Crescent.
stay out of Lake Crescent. Petition for us to go to the London Tower and somehow stay there overnight.
Oh, yeah. Would love that.
Love that for us.
Yeah.
What would happen if you saw a ghost bear?
I
Well,
don't
now I
know.
know that it's a ghost bear, Like, there's no
Yeah, like now I
logical.
know there's a ghost bear, so I'd just be like, oh, look, I'm hallucinating. I don't
Yeah.
know.
They're like, wow, we finally reached that point, have we?
All right, here it is.
Here it is. Yeah, now that I know it's a ghost bear, like, I think I'd be fine. But also, like, I mean, and it's hard in a moment like that, I'm sure, to be like rationally, what is a bear doing in London anyway, if it was like a real bear? So,
Do you know what this makes me think of, though? Do you
Switzerland?
remember in a Pocahontas
Oh,
when she's about to meet the king and the queen? They were gifted a bear.
wow, I love that for them.
And so, like, I'm just wondering if
Was it
this was
their bear?
was it their
Maybe.
bear?
In
I need to watch the movie again.
I know, right? I'm pretty positive. When I went to Switzerland, we went to a city called Bern, which I believe means
Hmm.
bear. And there is, in fact, a live bear in the city. It's in like a little, it has like a little habitat in the middle of the city with walls and whatnot. And I'm pretty sure you can check it out. Or it used to be that way, and then they put a statue there. It's been years since I went, so I don't remember.
Interesting. I'm going to be looking that up now.
Check it out and help me remember because, again, it's been like at this point,
What was the name of the city? Because now it's going to stick with me for too long.
Bern,
Burn?
Bern, I think. And so I went like literally half my life ago. I think I was 15.
Yeah.
So my memory it fades away with time in my old age, but regardless, anyway, watch out for ghost bears. Check out the Tower of London.
There's a bear pit. It is a tourist attraction in the Swiss capital of the city, Bern. It is the bear pit or enclosure for housing bears situated in at the eastern edge of the old city of Bern, next to the can't pronounce that and the river R.
There you go. Okay, so I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah. No, and okay, just so our listeners aren't concerned, it's a beautiful habitat.
It's
It's
a
not like
nice
a tiny little
no, no, no,
box or
it's
anything.
not.
It's huge, it's massive, and it looked like oh, there is a cute little bear statue with a piggy bank though. That maybe
Or
you're
maybe it's
remembering
both.
both.
Wow, okay, maybe it is
I'm
both.
thinking that they worship bears there or
Yeah,
like honor them
well,
quite
I
well.
I unfortunately, yeah, I made it sound like it's like the small.
This
No, it's like a
city's
very nice.
beautiful.
First of all, Switzerland is fucking gorgeous, clean as a whip.
Oh,
Everybody's happy, delicious fucking chocolate, great water. So, highly recommend.
it's so pretty.
It is. It's
Anyways, I'm
gorgeous.
sorry.
It looks like the fucking Sound of Music. So, yeah.
It does.
Yeah,
Ironic.
big like Alps energy. Anyway, everybody, we've taken this off a like a very strange course here at the end. So I'm just gonna say until next time.
Stay strange.